So that's where money came from, is that this idea that we, as humans, we are exchanging value. We are always exchanging value with one another. Do you have salt? Okay, right? There's always reciprocity. Okay, there's supposed to be, actually. And then trade and barter became challenging when, if I have what you need, but you don't have what I want. Okay? If I have what you need, but you don't have what I want. Money was introduced as an intermediary form of exchange. So if I have something you want, but you don't have something to give me in return, right? Money is now that intermediary to say, don't worry, just give me money. And where did money come from? It's the government printing paper with labels and then imposing value on different types of, right, money. The value comes from where? The value of the money in your hand comes from where? Where? Who owns that paper? It's not you. It's actually a promissory note in a way, if you understand accounting. Because that paper came from a tree, right? And the tree, some paper were printed on it, some paper, right? The same tree can produce that money. The same tree can produce regular paper. The difference are the symbols branded by the person who owns it and created it. So I'll be connecting it to scripture. That's why Jesus will tell you, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar and God. Because there's another value that the kingdom of heaven operates with. That value is derived from God. Okay? We're in there. I'm going to teach differently because we're in the house of God. Okay? So the first thing is that the money is a note, but the value is determined, right, by consciously what you are told it's, right? If it is 20, it's 20 value, 50 value, on and on. So it's now the form that if you're in a society, an economy, right, the government of that country prints. That's why you have different currencies printed by different governments. So trade within an economy, the intermediary value exchange, when people do business with one another, is determined by the government. That's why we talk about policy, fiscal policies, monetary policies. You know why? The value of that note can go up and down, inflation, deflation. Right? Are we following? Okay. So the value of the note is now managed by the same government that owns it, right? But where things then gets interesting for entrepreneurs, because the reason this number one is so important is because we are trying to make money. You're trying to make money, right? How do you make money? What does money flow into? Is the idea that money flows when value is exchanged. Money is an intermediary form of value. It doesn't flow if there's no value transaction, exchange. So always think about exchange. What am I going to exchange? For the employee side of things, you're exchanging your skills, your energy, time, on and on and on, for specific fixed, right, salary. Are we following? Okay, I'm going to land. So, but the entrepreneur, right, has to create another form of value in the market for which it's going to trade in the market. So when you want money as an entrepreneur, think about first, what value am I going to bring into that exchange, into that transaction? Okay? That's the first thing to understand, that you don't go into the market with empty hands and say money. You have to have in your hand something of incredible value that somebody will agree with you it's desirable to them, and that they are willing to exchange their money, right, with you for that which is in your hands. That's just the general concept. First thing is you must hold something in your hand. Apple holds your iPhone. They tell you, now instead of trade by barter, you now have to price you price your product and services. You have to put a label and say, okay, this is the price of this. So money will flow into value. And when there is no value, if you do not create a product or a service, if you have nothing to offer people in the world, they're not going to transact. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is about what I would consider the most powerful skill in the world, and it's simply communication. As an entrepreneur, is that branding, marketing, and sales. The fundamental skills to do it is communication. And what type of communication? You have to say what you mean and mean what you say. Because that's where trust is established. Because if you don't mean what you say and you don't say what you mean, there's no believability in anything you say, and there's no trust factor. And because value is being exchanged, we tend not to do business with people we don't know. We do business with people we know, like, and trust. And the likeness comes in the story, who you are. I like to say that the world doesn't give you what you wish for, it gives you who you are. Okay, so that's the second thing, communication in terms of branding, sales, and marketing is all about the ability to express value, explain value, determine value. So even when you create value, if you cannot use words to describe the value, because it has to be compelling, it has to be desirable, it has to be magnetic for you to draw people in to be able to want what you have. And then number 3 may be a little bit controversial, but maybe not controversial, but is this idea that the education system, right, the skills that the education system, and I come from, university administrators. My late father was part of establishing 2 Nigerian universities, so I'm big on education. Obviously, my husband too is an educator, but one thing we must admit, that the work at hand, the day we want to switch over, which is the biggest struggle from employee mindset to entrepreneur mindset, we actually have to embark on a new journey to deepen and learn new skills. Because the education system, if you went to school in any Western country, you realize that the first 20 years of that journey, like up until like first degree at least, we are actually being programmed to function in a way that is not the full expression that will help you unleash your creativity and be an entrepreneur. The education system did not promise you absolute success of self-actualization, okay? What that education system promises is that you will be relevant in the industrial era, that you will acquire a skill that the industrial era is going to be ready to pay and buy from you. So the entire education system aligns to, okay, after money is created and the industrial era, we need highly skilled workers to power the factory, to power the structures, to power the businesses that has been created, because we are going to mass produce everything. Mass produce electronics, mass produce this, mass production was the game. That's how people built mega structures, mega businesses. And in order to keep it going, keep it running, the speed at which you can get highly skilled workers is important to keeping your factory, keeping your companies going. And what did we have to do? We had to create a new education system that would churn out, right, every like constant production to support that era. So that is how education, so first degree, second degree, right, is that you're going to fit in. So when you come out, what do? You're looking for an employer. That's the natural, that's how it was designed. It wasn't designed for you to say, now I've acquired the skill to go and build my own business. No. Right? So this journey, this number 3, this journey, we must admit that maybe I do not know enough to go out there and do what I want to do. And one of the other things that is so important, there are 2 things we have to think about. What you want to sell, product, services, technical skills, whatever it is one thing. But the structure, that is built around that product or service is actually what is most important. Because if you know that structure, you can use it to sell water, sand, anything. It doesn't even matter what you're selling. You can go to Walmart, buy sand. You can buy water bottle, right? Water is very easy. But if you brand it and you have distribution and it's well packaged, you can literally sell anything. So it doesn't really matter what you're selling. What is most important that will determine the size and assets you're going to build is actually the structure around what you're selling. And that is the knowledge, that's the knowledge gap that we must close, is how to build those structure. For example, branding. The equity of your business stays in the brand, not necessarily in the product and services, because product and services come and go, right? If Apple offer you now, sir, iPhone 1, will you take it? Right, so this, you want the, right? So they have to continue to innovate because the world is moving so fast that the old becomes old, the new has to be new, but the brand is where equity, the value of the brand, and most people don't even invest in brand. It's an umbrella under which you're going to continue to deliver service. And the relationship you're going to have in the marketplace it's not necessarily at the product level, it's actually at the brand level. The trust factor. IBM, what were they producing 20 years ago? I don't know. But they have to remain relevant. Like cars do this thing every day, right? Every year, they're just tweaking things, and right? So let's just think about that, is that establishing a relationship if you're going to build a business, think about your promise, your brand promise, because under it, you will have more flexibility to move around. Okay, I'm going to move faster now. Number 4, the journey we actually have is to bring our ideas to life. So bring your ideas to life. But I'm going to break something down, the gap and the journey you have to go through. As Christians, as believers, the ideas you have sits in your spirit. God is going to, has blessed many people, bless everyone with incredible ideas. Ideas is abundance in the world. But not every idea is created into reality. So when you think about you want to build a building, an architect will have that vision, that picture in their mind, but they will write it down, draw it, write the vision, make it plain. But the physical drawing is still not the building, right? But it's a visual representation of what is about to be brought to life in the world. So the journey then this is the struggle. Even when you write your business plan is still not your business yet, because you actually need skill. Imagine if that building plan drawing is given to a contractor without skill, right? What would they do? If this is their first time of ever laying the foundation of a building, and you give the most fantastic idea, the most fantastic vision to someone without the skill to pull it off, there's going to be struggle. The structure might, right? And that's where this thing of entrepreneurship comes in, is that incredible ideas require incredible skills. Incredible ideas require incredible skills. So developing that skill is the key for success. So the idea is in the place of the spirit, but our mind, thoughts, knowledge to bring into reality that idea, we must pursue knowledge. Everybody say that, I must pursue knowledge. People who do not pursue knowledge, there is very little they can offer in the world. To do this work, to build a phone, to create this product, to do this work. That's why your employer needs you. Because to keep powering and delivering value in the marketplace requires superior intelligence, manpower, energy to keep doing that. And you will need that for your work as well. So you as the employee number 1, the best thing you can do is to make sure that we train ourselves for that journey. And then the heart, emotion must align. Many people have fear. But I tell you, once you have knowledge, fear goes away. Fear goes away the more knowledge you have. And then the body must be trained to do the work. So aligning all 4 behind what God has showed you is important, because when people are divided, double-minded person cannot. If your spirit is here, your body is doing work, and your spirit is like, you shouldn't be here. This is the wrong place for you. Right? It's that your spirit is somewhere else, has another assignment, but you are subjecting your body into a place where the spirit is like, you can be here. And that's where we talk about survival versus thriving, is that when animals hibernate, they use less energy. But when they are running and chasing and pursuing, more energy is released. When you go to the gym, more energy is released. And that's one of the things God does. When you start pursuing the dreams he has for you, listen, you're going to be empowered more. But if you withdraw and you go into a place of survival only, the energy will not flow as much. So let's think about that. Number 5, build leverage. Build leverage. It's this idea, I'll say money, opportunities. See it as a river. It's flowing. It's circling. But if it's a river, what are you going to use to scoop to you? Is it a spoon? Is it a cup? Is it a bucket? Is it a trailer? Right? What would you use to scoop your own? So it's going around. The way people scoop is what I talked about in number 1. You create something that people want, that is highly desirable. You create a story, believe it starts with you, who you are, that attracts people to you. And when people draw in and they want what is in your hand, you can then say, okay, you want this? Yeah. Apple will tell you, you go to their store. You are the one that walked into that store, right? They advertise, and then the advertisement made it desirable. Like the car, I want that. The moment you say, I want that, you walk in. They bring you in, and they are not playing. You're not walking out of that place without dropping something. If you go to Walmart and pick banana and you don't swipe, you're not going. They've created value. They've brought it in. You want gas and you go to a gas station, they've done the work to create what you need, and all they're asking for you is $4.99, $3.99, $5.99, and they want as many people as possible to come in, right? So that's the structure. Okay. So leverage is, what's the force? What are you going to create that's as value? Because the bigger the value, actually, to get that to that level, you have to do a lot of work. But I'm just sharing the framework here. And then number 6, I'm going to 7. So number 6, it's the power of time, space, and location and action. Time, space, location, action. Time is an opportunity to create. Time is an opportunity to create. Okay? And most of the time, people who don't, if you don't use time wisely, you lose time and you don't create, and you don't use time wisely, then when time passes, you have nothing to show for that time that just was given to you. Like a year is an opportunity to create. And you create always in today. You can't create in tomorrow, you can't create in yesterday. Because tomorrow becomes today. Yesterday becomes, right? Yesterday was today. Today becomes tomorrow. Oh, what am I saying? Today, very soon when we go into tomorrow, today will become yesterday. Thank you. So, actually, the only space where you can have impact and do anything is always going to be today. Life is lived one day at a time. So, when we talk about personal development, the reason it is important, if you don't discipline yourself to maximize every moment, every time, your today, and you say tomorrow, tomorrow never comes. And you dissipate your energy into, tomorrow, yesterday, yesterday. It's a wasted, you've divided the impact. When you want maximum impact, your mind and soul must be present in now. Now. Now is the most important space to do meaningful work, because what you do now is what you will see the next minute. And when you don't do now Next minute we say, we're still waiting because tomorrow is waiting to build on your today. When you lay a brick today, when you sleep and you wake up tomorrow, that brick is waiting for another layer. And business structure and business is that way. But if you miss laying the brick, today's brick is waiting for, you now have to do that tomorrow. Because you can't lay the second brick without doing the first one. So the most powerful thing is to seize the moment, seize your now, because when you seize your now, you are guaranteeing the future. Right? Because today is the opportunity to create the foundation and the structures you're going to need tomorrow. And people arrive tomorrow without what they were supposed to build. So that's so important. And then location. Location determines the resources, quality of relationships, and the knowledge you can have access to. And those three things are not evenly distributed in the world. Okay? So in order to create, you're going to need to gather people, knowledge, resources. And everything you need is here on earth, but it may not be in your zip code. Everything is here. It's in somebody's hands. The information you need, somebody has it. You want to do it, somebody has it. So this is the mindset of an entrepreneur is always in pursuit of everything you need. You need to be gathering. We used to be hunters and gatherers. We don't sit still and wait. What made us sit still is the Industrial Revolution, right? Where a desk was created and said, sit down. But do you know in that same company, the people doing this work, they are not sitting down. You don't even see them. The people closing the deals, they're flying, they're shaking hands, they're closing deals, they're forming partnership. Those who are in forefront of driving your company, they don't sit down with you. They say, you sit down, power us. They are all over. They are shaking hands. They are flying, they are closing. And you see them on the news. Apple partnership with this, partnership. They did not sit still. They pursue partnership. They pursue opportunities to expand capacity to produce more. So the entrepreneur doesn't sit still. The entrepreneur doesn't wait. The entrepreneur is always, always, always in pursuit. It's the lion in the zoo versus the lion in the wild. Once you release a lion, you go after. That's why God says those who know their God will do exploits, right? You're always supposed to be pursuing. Like when you see one focus. One focus. What do you need today? What do you need today? What are you looking for? What do you need? What do you need? Where is it? And then anytime you find in your heart you need something, you need a relationship. The moment that thing comes into your mind, start asking another question. Where can I find it? Where can I find it? Who has done it before? Right? And start researching, and you will find it. And then the last one, vision, impact, momentum, legacy, consistency, quality, magnitude. I'm going to pack all of those things out. Is that vision? There are two types of vision, or even maybe three. There's the vision God has for us. There's the vision you have for yourself. There's the vision other people have for you. But vision is the picture of your destination. The vision you decide to bring into your life will determine where you arrive. This is so important. Consistency is not stopping until you see what you saw. Right? Whatever God has showed us, you need to know it's guaranteed. Whatever God has showed you is guaranteed. It is done. Our job is to do it. Consistency is not to give up until we see what God promised us. And legacy is also important because there are times when entrepreneurs start building a survival business, not a legacy business, because it requires a different mindset. Is that you may end up building something that will then take all your life, all your time, and you're not free again. You know, because a lot of time people believe, oh, if I become an entrepreneur, I will be free. You'll be free if you build right. If you build the right structure, the right business structure with the hand in mind. Because when that structure is not in place, trust me, entrepreneurship, you will do more work than a job. And oftentimes, this is when people say, are you working in your company or on your company? Right? So let's think about that. So I'll stop there. I know there's still Q&A, sir, but I just wanted to drop these 7 things just to help us see the lay of the land and understand, okay, money goes into value. What leverage, what am I going to create that is valuable enough that people would want? Because in the world of business, nobody owes anybody. It's based on value. The value, if you want my money, what are you going to give me? That's really the transaction. And we can develop the skills that will help us do it perfectly. Thank you so much. God bless.
I hope